How's it going, Jets fans? My name is Alex, and I co-host here Ryan Moran, coming off a huge win over the Green Bay Packers. Defense was absolutely electric today. Big blocked punt. Quinnen Williams had a freaking day. Quincy Williams coming back off that injury had 14 tackles. CJ Mosley had 11. Sauce Gardner had another big game. I mean, as we said in this earlier this week, the Packers don't have good receivers. Their passing game has been very weak. They had to run the football. Quincy Williams made Aaron Jones look like he's never played football before. I mean, that one hit he had on him was absolutely unbelievable. I mean, this was a whopping. The Jets looked like the better team the entire game. They dominated from start to finish. Their defense was unbelievable. They're finally hitting their stride and looking like the unit we knew they would be up to this point in the season. And Breece Hall, man, he's taking over games now, man. Every single week, he's your workhorse back. He's ripping off huge gains. He's carrying this offense, moving the chains. I was really impressed. This was another really, really strong win, compounding. It seems like the Green Bay Packers are just the team that everyone beats the shit out of, and then, mounts that kind of extra bit of success and just progress. The Giants obviously beat them last week. The Jets, I mean, what a day for New York sports in the football arena. I mean, the Giants and Jets coming off huge wins, Packers and the Baltimore Ravens. All around, I mean, there's good vibes everywhere in New York. It's definitely going to be a fun week. But Ryan, love to hear your perspective, opinion, and impression after this dominant win for the Jets.
It's a great feeling, Alex. No doubt about that. I think this was a prove-it game for the Jets and their biggest statement so far on the young year. And it's a great feeling for all Jets fans. I mean, the first time since 2015, you can say that this team is 4-2. And you said it. I mean, the Jets from start to finish in this game were clearly the better team. I think you got to start with the defense, just absolutely suffocating the Packers offense. And I don't think it comes as too much of a surprise. I got to be honest. I think the Jets defense, the last two games, especially the defensive line, I mean, just forceful all game. Without Jermaine Johnson, you saw Quinnen Williams, John Franklin Myers, Sheldon Rankins is having a great year. You got to give it up to him. Bryce Huff, again, I mean, on third downs coming in. Second level, I mean, getting Quincy back. CJ Mosley, Quan Alexander made a huge fourth down play in the fourth quarter, when it was still a two-score game. Secondary, as no surprise, I mean, Sauce, DJ Reed, MC2, Jordan Whitehead, and LaMarcus Joyner, really from front to back. I mean, the Jets defense just put together a perfect game, really. And I mean, it was just so dominant, stopping the run, really shut A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones out. Made life tough on Aaron Rodgers, man. I mean, they got to him all game long, Q, JFM, Rank. You got to give it up to those guys. And the special teams capitalized. I mean, when opportunities were needed, Quinnen Williams with the block field goal early on in the ball game, Michael Clemens with the block punt that Will Parks runs it for 20 yards. I mean, that gave the Jets some breathing room there, the 17-3 lead in the third quarter, coming off of the long touchdown drive out of half that Barrios ran in. I mean, that's what really kind of gave the Jets, a lot of mojo and gave them full control of this game. The special teams, I mean, like I said, Justin Hardy and Brandon Echols getting down there on punts. Again, Barrios, with some good returns, both kick and punt returns. And then offensively, I mean, the passing game, definitely not a pretty day by any means, but Breece Hall, I mean, what more can you say about this guy? It's just incredible what he's been able to do the last 3 weeks, really just putting this offense on his back time and time again. Big runs. You see the speeds. I mean, he's so hard to catch in space. And I even think today, like his size, power, play strength, like those attributes to his game were on display, because I think at times you got to give the Packers run defense some credit that they actually surpassed early on in the game. I mean, as the game progressed, LaFleur really, he definitely, called some more of the gadget stuff in the second half and worked east and west, some lateral stuff that was really there and got Breece going. But, he Breece, that contact balance and, moving forward, gaining yards when not a lot was there at times, was on display. And I'll finish with this before I get back to you. I mean, it wasn't a perfect day by any means for Zach Wilson. Obviously, the, one pass he threw on the third down in the red zone to Corey Davis, that was in harm's way, was a bit frustrating. And, I will say, I don't know, again, if LaFleur really did a ton of east and west stuff that really made it easy from a schematical standpoint for Zach. But again, no interceptions, I think, is a really big thing. I want to say it's over 10 quarters in a row now or something along those lines without an interception for Zach. So, that's a big thing. And they'll continue to just, play the way they're playing with this defense, play to Breece Hall and the special teams capitalizing when needed. And it feels great. I mean, that was a convincing win that the Jets really took to the Packers for 4 quarters.
I mean, look, it was a dominant performance. If you look at the stats, it really tells a story, right? Zach Wilson was 10 for 18, obviously didn't throw the ball a ton. They really committed to the ground, 33 rushing attempts. Breece Hall had 20, Carter had 6, and a couple of them sprinkled in. And Brees Hall, 116 yards, 5.8 yards per carry with a touchdown, a long of 34. Again, workhorse back. We've been a huge proponent of Brees Hall since before he even played, when he was originally drafted. Ryan, you and I have been on the Brees Hall train, and now he's coming to fruition. Everyone's seeing how absolutely dominant this guy can be. On top of that, you look at the other side of the football for the Green Bay Packers. Aaron Rodgers was 26 for 41. He had 41 passing attempts, only 246 yards and 1 touchdown. The running game was completely shut out, 20 carries for 60 yards, 3 yards per carry. That's abysmal. Robert Tonyan, their tight end, 10 receptions for 90 yards, their leading receiver. Of course, Alan Lazard had that 1 touchdown, 4 receptions for 76 yards, but nothing too crazy. I mean, the Jets defense just came to play. What an impression Quincy Williams left, though. Coming back after that ankle injury, he was in a cast like 3 weeks ago. He just made a huge impact today, guys. 14 total tackles. That is significant. CJ Mosley, like I said before, 11 total tackles with a pass defended. Quinnen Williams finishes with 5 tackles, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for a loss, and 3 quarterback hits. And if I'm not mistaken, didn't he have that blocked kick as well?
Yes, the blocked field goal early in the game when it was still a no score game.
Right. So the impression that Quinnen Williams made today should set Jets fans up for what hopes to be a very successful and bountiful future with him in the middle of that defensive line. Quinnen Williams has had his fair share of struggles the last couple of years. He's been a little bit iffy in the run defense, iffy in pass rush sometimes, but he's putting together an all-pro level season right now. He's putting together what everyone thought he would end up becoming, and it's legitimizing, and the coaching staff is doing a great job getting the most out of him. And this team looks like they're just hitting their stride. As my prediction was earlier on, I thought this year would be the year that it all comes together, and then next year they'll be very competitive for a legitimate playoff push. But right now, I mean, who's to say the Jets aren't going to do it this year too? They're 4-2. They're 3-0 away, by the way. They've won all 3 games on the road. I mean, this team looks like a playoff squad. If their offense can come around and really start to showcase that efficiency you need to see in the playoffs, I mean, their defense is making the stride. They had a defensive touchdown, a special teams touchdown today. Braxton Berrios got involved. Michael LaFleur had a pretty solid game plan. Their running game is elite, or it's at least headed in that direction. If Zach Wilson can come around and really put together a strong passing foundation, and they're efficient in that way, I mean, who's to say the Jets can't be a playoff team that legitimately competes against the other AFC opponents? I mean, you look at the Bills right now. This is a division that's wide open for the taking. The Bills are a very, very good team. They're 4-1, but the Jets are 4-2, and they're right behind them. And right now, the Bills are playing the Chiefs. And I think the Chiefs are actually winning 7-3. So by the end of today, the Jets could be tied for first place in the NFC, or the AFC East rather, which would be a tremendous improvement and tremendous step forward in the right direction. And the coaching staff suddenly has a little bit of pressure alleviated from their shoulders. But how exciting is it to see Quinnen Williams elevating his game to this level and really starting to make and leave that impression that he can be the focal point, the bookend in that interior defensive line, and move and just kind of put the Jets in a spot to compete in every single week. He makes plays that keeps the Jets in games. He comes up in big moments. How important do you think he is moving forward?
I'll say I think Q, and most people expected a real breakout from him this year, and we talked about it all summer. I would go as far to say I think Quinnen has even shattered expectations that people could have had. I mean, his dominance right now is it might be crazy to say, but aside from Aaron Donald, is there a better guy at the position right now than Quinnen Williams? I feel like it's hard to say, that he's not. And whether it's the run defense, the pass rush, and like you said, Alex, just the timely third down pressures that are needed and are money makers in this league, especially when you go up against Aaron Rodgers. You got to get off the field on third and fourth down, obviously, with the Jets having a 2-score lead in the fourth quarter, which they did time and time again. Bend but don't break. They, limited the big plays for the most part. Obviously, Lazard had that one big touchdown, but other than that, I mean, the Jets pass defense, and we expected it. I mean, the way the secondary has played, I think the others, the 3 stars really, obviously Q being one of them, with all the pressure he created and just the dominance, and you got to get up to Saleh and Ulbrich because the stunts and the twists up front have really been working the last 3 weeks. And it's going to be important for them to continue to really, like we talked about that pass rush package with Bryce Huff and Carl Lawson on the outside. They're operating a ton of stuff that's confusing lines, and it's paving the way. And when one-on-ones are there, Quinnen has been dominant. The other 2 stars, I mean, obviously Sauce Gardner and Brees Hall, the 2 rookies. I mean, Sauce, again, just making plays on the ball. You see the attitude and just this guy's personality, the life he brings to the Jets organization. And he's been incredible to this point. I mean, making plays on the ball and coverage, shutting down prime receivers every week. And with Brees, I mean, the Jets put this game on his shoulders for the 3rd week in a row. And he just continues to get better. I mean, it was his first 100-yard rushing game to this point. Obviously, he just missed with 97 in the Dolphin game last week, and this is now 2 weeks in a row. He's had comfortably well over 100 yards from scrimmage, and he's just dominant. Like the complete skill set this guy offers with size, speed, power, contact balance, running inside, running outside, the gadget game. And it was nice because in the first half, it was a bit frustrating. And it was another week where Elijah Moore and Garrett Wilson were very misutilized, not really given enough opportunities. And I think LaFleur's got to get the, East and West passing game more integrated, and that'll help Zach, continue to grow with his comfort and just have easy completions at his disposal. But it was nice, like I said, in the second half to really see the end arounds, more of the jet motioning. There's still not enough screens in this offense. Like I feel like there's room for this offense to continue to grow and keep building. But overall, I mean, the Jets were clearly the better team on that field from the first play of the game when Sauce nearly had a pick six. I mean, it was bang, bang play all the way to the end. I mean, the Jets were the dominant team and won in convincing fashion. And this was needed. I mean, this was a statement, prove it type of day, and give it up to Robert Saleh and his football team. I mean, the Jets right now are very exciting to watch.
That's absolutely right. And guys, I'd love to hear your impressions and your reactions below to this unbelievable win over the Packers. Obviously, the Jets put their best foot forward. This was the best we might have seen this team in a couple of years, to be honest with you. Their defense looked straight up elite today. Aaron Rodgers, a future Hall of Fame quarterback, yes, not the best of receivers right now, but they took advantage of that, and the Jets put on a show. And the running game for the Packers, nowhere to be found. 3 yards per carry. That's a sign of an elite defensive performance, and the offense did plenty, if not more than enough, with 27 points. Of course, a little bit of help from the special teams unit, but you couldn't be happier right now if you're a Jets fan. Could not be happier about the way the team is progressing, and hopefully we continue to see the compounding success of this squad moving forward. But again, love to hear perspectives below. As always, make sure to like, subscribe, enjoy this win, enjoy this Sunday. It's a beautiful day out in New York. All the New York teams are thriving. Now we'll see if the Yankees can pull off a win tonight, and we'll get back to you on that tomorrow. But of course, have a fantastic rest of your day, and we'll catch you guys on the next Fireside Jets episode.